500 Greatest Films podcast. My name is Hector Navarro, and sitting to my left, come on, is the Bucky Barnes to my Steve Rogers, Mr. Keller Knobloch. Say hi, Keller.
I'll take it.
That's right. We can do this all day.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. What are you going to say, Keller?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing good. Nothing worth saying.
I'm very excited because this episode is one of my favorites, even though it's like middle of the road ranking for the overall MCU. Does that make sense? But I still have such a love for this one.
It makes sense.
Okay. Let's just jump in. Let's just cut right to the chase, okay? Please hand your phone to Mr. Sir Giles.
Right to the chase.
Sir Giles. Yeah, no pleasantries today.
No pleasantries at all.
We have Nazis to punch. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
No pleasantries with Nazis.
Metaphorical and real Nazis to punch.
Kill them.
So we are handing the phone over to our resident Rotten Tomatoes reader, Mr. Sir Giles. In case anybody's tuning in right now and you haven't listened to the rest of the episodes leading up to this, this is a podcast where we once a week watch a movie. Now we're doing the MCU and framing it around, I don't know what, like, is it one of the greatest movies ever made? For most of the MCU, the answer is no, but who cares? We're watching them anyway.
Yeah, the premise of this podcast
is
we've lost it.
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
But now the premise is we're watching these once a week in chronological timeline order. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
Oh, man.
And I just want Sir Giles to set up what movie we're talking about. This is him reading the sort of summary of Rotten
also,
Tomatoes.
Sir Giles is the guy who lives in our attic, and he's just an old British man.
Thank you.
He's in our basement, and he does this because his green card depends on it.
That's right. He lives in our basement, in our attic, in the walls.
Yes.
And he just, he represents the sort of the British movie fan, if you will.
Because, yeah. Our list is based off of a British magazine.
But no longer. Anyway, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. What else? We have a Patreon. Yeah. You can join our Patreon.
Just
anyway,
listen to it.
Just listen to
our
episodes.
old episodes.
But
what if there's just a Cap super fan?
Oh, then welcome.
Welcome.
Then we're going to win him over with this episode.
Because Hector is also a Cap super fan.
I am.
Where does he rank in your...
High.
I need to know...
High up there.
Your hero ranking, Marvel.
Overall, like comics and everything. Number one with a bullet, Spidey.
Duh.
Number two...
Actually, without a bullet, he doesn't use guns.
Webbing. Number one with a webbing, Spidey.
Thank you.
Number two might be like... I really love Daredevil. I love a lot of Daredevil comics. I think the character is great.
He deserves better than what he's gotten.
Yeah, but that TV show is pretty good.
That show's pretty good, but also
we'll get to it. I'm gonna
cut 3 episodes from each season.
Thank you. Who else do I love? I love Hank McCoy, Beast from the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite characters, and I love his sort of journey and evolution. There's
He's blue.
Interesting stuff there. Love me She-Hulk.
They don't explain that.
They do.
Why is he blue?
They explain it.
They explain it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a formula.
Blue specifically?
No. Why does it turn blue? No idea.
Okay, see?
I don't know if
they
that's
don't
ever,
explain it.
I don't know if that's ever
You said they explained it? They don't
at
explain
one
it.
point. In the movies, they explain it.
I think...
Because they're like Mystique's DNA. Remember?
It's because he ate the gum from Willy Wonka's.
What? Yeah.
He's been pressed... All the juice has been pressed out of him.
I love Miles Morales, but
that's
a part of the Spidey world.
But that's part of the...
I love the Thing from the Fantastic Four.
Okay, so all of these rank higher than Cap?
No.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
I'm going to tell you what.
Where is he? Yes. Is he in top 5?
He might be, but Steve Rogers is definitely in my top 10 easily.
Okay.
But I think Steve Rogers and the comic book character Captain America and the movie character Captain America, if I'm taking the whole thing into account, he's in my top 5. He might be number 4, number 3. He's up there.
MCU, he's like number 1.
He's up there.
Okay.
MCU, I still go Spidey. I still love that little Tom Holland kid. I fucking love that character.
He's still number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. For a lot of reasons, and I can't wait to get to that stuff later. But number one reason, he thought he could fight off a hammer drone when he was a little boy. Come on. That's great.
Adorable. Definitely. I love retroactive stuff.
Yeah, me too. Radioactive and retroactive.
Wow. He wasn't radioactive yet.
But eventually he would be. Probably genetically engineered. Anyway, what about you? Who's your favorite Marvel characters before and after these movies? Where are you at? I think the movies made you a Thor guy.
Yes, especially Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, of course.
And Infinity War.
Yeah, yep. It's a great 1-2 punch for Thor. And he's good in Endgame.
He's good in, exactly. He has a great arc.
Yeah, he does.
That's the Thor arc.
Does. You like...
The Thark.
Do you like Iron Man or Captain America more? You like Iron Man more? No, Captain America more. Steve Rogers.
It's hard to say.
Okay.
Because Robert Downey Jr.'s got the charisma.
Yeah.
And this is the most I've liked. Should we do the thing?
Let's just do it.
And then get into it?
Let's just do it.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
Right.
It's part of it. Sorry, Sir Giles. We hate to interrupt your interruption of our show.
Sir Giles, I'm not sorry.
please, if you would be so kind, Sir Giles, what
Just
movie
kidding, Giles.
are we talking about tonight? Take it away.
I'm allowed to call him just Giles. I don't have to say Sir Giles every time.
Isn't he your great uncle?
Huh?
Isn't he your great uncle?
I got to check the family tree.
Okay.
Just a second. Let me log in at Ancestry.com. Oh, yep, that's it.
Right there. Giles
That's
to
it.
Keller. It's a straight line.
Giles, you can stay.
Cool. That's pretty.
You like that
cool.
I looked to nobody?
Yeah. Sir Giles, air quotes.
Just kidding. He's there.
He's there. If you please let us know so we can get into talking about this fantastic movie and all of its pros and cons. What movie are we talking about tonight?
Captain America. The first Avenger. 2011. Director, I don't usually say the colon, but sometimes,
Okay.
Joseph Eggleston Johnston the second. Jesus Christ. J.E.J. I'm sorry.
Okay, what's the summary?
With plenty of pulpy action, a pleasantly retro vibe, and a handful of fine performances, Captain America is sortedly old-fashioned blockbuster entertainment, period.
Thank you, Sir Giles. Please leave off some of the periods and colons next time. But the colon for the movie title is completely acceptable. Thank you, Sir Giles. All right, and he's gone. Okay.
He was giving you double birds the whole way. He was moonwalking out of the room giving you double birds.
Keller, let's start with you. Overall thoughts as it pertains to that little Rotten Tomatoes summary. And I feel like it's got a pretty high, it's like certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I forgot what
it should be.
Yeah. But what are your overall thoughts? Do you agree, disagree with that little summation?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
I think the movie has some flaws, but they're not glaring. And I think
it feels a little slow at times. Feels a little long at times.
Some of the effects aren't the best. Some of the the green screen isn't the best.
But also, it kind of gives that old movie feel
It
at
does.
the same time. So
It does.
I'm more forgiving.
Yeah, when they
it.
when they go to the the World Expo or whatever in 1943. Or
It's like Chelsea was saying, it's real Sky Captain, World of Tomorrow.
Very
real dreamy.
CG, dreamy backgrounds and stuff. There's also clearly stuff that in this movie is like propaganda, and they're like really glancing over the atrocities of World War II. But I can't believe I'm saying this. It's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it.
Guys, I'm so fucking
what happened?
sorry.
What
I got a
happened?
text message from Augustine.
Okay, great.
That's what he said.
Okay. We don't have any more deliveries. Okay, go ahead. What did he say?
He just asked what knife set I would buy if I was going to buy one. I got to do research to answer that question.
But we were talking about it while we were watching the movie. Like, the movie sidesteps the racism of like the segregated troops in the United States forces, where there was all black troops, and then they weren't integrated with the other white troops. And it sidesteps that stuff.
There's
also
a Japanese person on the team, even though there were Japanese people in internment camps at the same time.
And that was all there. All of that was there purposefully to be like, look, this isn't...
They're all from the comics?
First of all, yes, all those characters. Jim Morita, who he was like, I'm from Fresno, Ace, which is a great little, tiny little reference to like, there's prejudice in the MCU, because it's based on our world. So Dum Dum Dugan, played by Neil McDonough, he's like, well, we're taking everybody now? And it's like the most racist a good guy character can get in these movies. And he goes, I'm from Fresno, Ace. And it's like, that character, played by actor Kenneth Choi, he did a bunch of research about it, and he learned about Japanese American soldiers and that contribution that like Asian Americans had to the war effort. And so he was like excited to be that character and to be included in the film.
Yeah.
And each of these guys in the Howling Commandos, they'll have their little moments, and a lot of them wanted to reprise their roles for the TV show Agents of
They
S.H.I.E.L.D.
honestly deserved more.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in the best world, there'd been a Captain America movie, and then there would have been a Howling Commandos movie, and then there in that the things would have happened.
Agreed. And so what they ended up getting is they were featured in a few episodes of Agent Carter and a few episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and flashbacks. But you're right. Cool. Like, some of those actors wanted to reprise their roles for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then scheduling, they couldn't do it. So, like, they cared about these characters, right? We talked about how, what's the actor's name? Can you pull up the cast? The guy who plays, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the character's name. But it's Derek Evans, I believe.
That's
who plays Gabe Jones, and he's a prominent black character in Marvel Comics. Derek Luke, who plays Gabe Jones. And Gabe Jones is a character from the 60s Marvel Comics, where they said in the 60s that there was like an integrated unit of soldiers fighting in World War II, 20 years before, which wasn't true, but they put that in there.
Yeah.
And then those characters ended up becoming all sort of founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D. Gabe Jones is like an early member of S.H.I.E.L.D., and so he started doing spy shit with White Nick Fury in the 60s comic books and stuff. So then you had a British character, a French character, right, representing these different nations and groups and
it's like it's a baby UN.
Yeah, it is. and it's baby World War II. It's a movie you can show kids and they can get, okay, this is what this conflict was, or at least kind of. I mean, they weren't fighting the Hydra, but
that's
Nazis.
a problem because then it is like,
well, I think this movie's less problematic, but also I still really like Winter Soldier, where Winter Soldier,
I wish they had gone into Stanley Tucci's character's background, like when you explained it.
Yeah,
if they had said that
in some of the comics,
say
it's just
that.
because it's real and it's kind of bleak. Right, to your point, there's no mention of the Holocaust. There's no mention of like
why we had
the
war.
atrocities that were happening in Europe and stuff like that, with people being put into concentration camps. And I was trying to say while we're watching the movie, I think that that's okay. It's not ideal.
I don't,
but it's okay.
I'm not going to give
because-
it we have to.
Right.
It's too late now.
Right.
But I don't know if it's okay.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's why I think it's okay. In the larger scheme of like what the Marvel movies are and what the character of Captain America does, Steve Rogers has always had a bit of a shinier, sort of a less complex world. Especially,
kind of, except he's like punching Hitler and stuff.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
He punches Hitler, and then he's not. The rest of us not Nazis.
Right.
Like they said, that's a separation.
Yeah.
And
which
that may be.
I mean, it was criticized when it came out. Criticized when it came out. People were like, "You should have kept Red Skull a Nazi."
Yeah.
And it still would have been the same movie, and it just would have had. I mean, look, Nazis are in the film. They're referenced. There's swastikas. Like that's a part of it, but it's not. They definitely sidestepped it, skirted it by.
You can say the same thing, but also even in fucking Indiana Jones, it shows them burning the books. It shows them doing.
Oh, absolutely. That stuff is still kid friendly. I think like they don't go into it, but it's more prominent, and those are the clear villains. Whereas this movie has a couple different moments, right? Red Skull has a thing where he sort of scoffs at Adolf Hitler and what he was doing, but also. He mentions,
references Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. He also mentions, I think, and maybe I'm misremembering, and maybe this was in a comic book, but Red Skull in this movie is supposed to be. They tried to like give him a line where he's like, "I don't care about Hitler's like misinformed eugenics and how he thinks that there's a superior man." He's like, "I think the superior man is going to be these enhanced." Super soldiers, like that's Red Skull's whole thing. Whereas in the comic books, he is also a flat out racist. Red Skull is a Nazi. So
do it.
I know they could have done it. They should have done it. But what I'm saying is,
that's my main qualm
with Disney Plus, with the MCU not stopping at any point, and with the continuing, like they're going to keep adding stuff. They're going to. We're getting the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Those I think are the projects where you can, flesh out and be like, here's the secret. Behind the scenes of Project Rebirth or Project Super Soldier. Here's who was involved. Here's who, because I'm referencing how the comic books at one point revealed that before Steve Rogers got it, they experimented on black soldiers for the super soldier serum, and a bunch of them died.
Really?
And only one guy was able to kind of survive, and his name was Elijah Bradley, I believe. I may be misremembering it with him and his grandson. At any point, he became an active participant in the war. And what happened with him is because he had a different version of the super soldier serum, eventually his sort of mind went away and he became like a bit slower and everything mentally, but he was a hero to the African American community. And everybody in black history in the United States and the world knew who he was, but Steve never knew about him. And they had a whole comic book that was called Truth that revealed and it referenced like the Tuskegee, airmen. It referenced the actual experimentation that happened on black soldiers, like science experiments and shit.
Damn.
Stuff that Nazis were doing, stuff that the United States was doing, and at the end of that comic book, like Steve Rogers learned this.
That?
I'm trying to remember who it was. I think the artist was Baker or something.
You got your phone?
I need to look. No, I don't have my phone, but you can look it up.
I'll look it up.
You can look up Captain America Truth. Is what it's called.
Keep going.
And I consider that little piece of comic book, storytelling like kind of essential to the bigger picture of Captain America because it does bring in that history that is so often overlooked. So it's kind of like essential reading for me. And
Yeah.
the reason I think I'm giving, who's the people behind that comic book? Did you find it?
I'm looking.
Okay.
Robert Morales,
I think so. And then the artist?
Kyle Baker.
Kyle Baker, that's right. Kyle Baker also did some like Plastic Man comics that were really fun and cool, but really cool style. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So I think what I'm saying is I'm sort of allowing the Captain America, the first Avenger movie to not include any of this stuff because it would have been a completely different, really interesting, don't get me wrong, really interesting and daring choice.
Yeah.
If their fifth movie leading up to the Avengers was like, and here's how the United States experimented on black people. People would be like, what? Whoa, that's crazy. They weren't ready. Marvel Studios wasn't ready to go there yet. And I think since then that they've opened it up, not just with their sequel movies and stuff, but like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and now all of these Disney Plus series. They could go back and still do that. They could get Chris Evans. He could be in, they're talking about how he still might come back, and they're working on, apparently the rumors are, getting him to sign a contract or whatever. What I'm saying is other characters in the Cap world know this and experience this. Characters like Falcon, even characters like Bucky, Winter Soldier, he goes through shit that it's like, well, he's really the traumatic, character. He's the one who has the sort of more realistic and messed up sort of view of the world and everything like that. So maybe I'm giving this first movie, too much, cutting it too much slack for being so kind of sort of rosy and been like, it's clear, it's good versus evil, and that's all it is. But again, I think Steve's first movie kind of needs to be that, so that when he shows up later in the present,
especially the next one,
it's what it's all about.
Because it pulls the rug out of him.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. He can look at the characters in Captain America: The Winter Soldier and be like, "This isn't how it used to be," and they're like, "Sorry, bud, this is how the world works."
But Captain America is way better when the reason he wants to do it is to, like, he wants to save those people in camps.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't just want to go punch Nazis. There's a reason he wants to punch Nazis.
That's true.
But they never go into that.
And like, another thing I love,
I don't like bullies, and it's like,
yeah,
elaborate, please.
Yeah. But it is. I do love that exchange with Stanley Tucci, because does also sum up the good heart of most of these superhero characters.
It's like a perfectly written scene in the same way.
I don't want to kill
whoever
anybody.
wrote the Civil War Spider-Man thing. It's like, we're going to sum this up real quick.
He's like, when you can do the things that I can, but you don't do them, and then the bad things happen, it's because you didn't do them. Like, yeah, that's it. That's the whole thesis of, again,
superheroes.
And specifically Marvel. You go back to that History of the Marvel Universe, that big book that I had you read. At the end of it, it's like, it sums it up and it goes, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, that's Marvel at its DNA. That's what it's supposed to be. So, anyway, so we were back on you with overall thoughts, looking at that Rotten Tomatoes summation, but also tell me about, where does Cap fit in your movie Marvel comics ranking?
He's great in these movies.
Yeah.
I haven't read a whole lot of comic books with him, I guess.
Sure.
But he's wrong in Civil War.
Thank you. I agree. But Tony went about.
But also, they're both wrong.
The wrong way.
And also, he's a real piece of shit about it.
Yeah, Tony. Oh yeah, big time.
More so in the comic book.
Yeah, big time. But I am a big fan of accountability, and
with great accountability. What is it?
Yeah, with great
ability comes great accountability.
Yeah. Yes, kind of true. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep talking about this movie. Favorite actor in this film?
Favorite actor? I love Stanley Tucci.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number
one.
one.
I think you said it was Tommy Lee Jones, and then, but Tommy Lee Jones is just doing Tommy Lee Jones. He's playing the same character he's played in.
Well, that's good.
Every movie. Exactly.
Yeah. Tommy Lee, did you hear about
Stanley Tucci had to do an accent?
Did you hear about the good news? No, what happened? We had a new president, and everything seemed to be okay after the fact. Well, that's good. Just everything you tell him, it's like, well, that's good.
Unless something's bad.
I think Stanley Tucci's.
Well, that's no good.
Yeah. Well, that's no good, and is it? This is what's that one line? It's like, if you have something you want to say to yourself, this is the perfect time to
keep it to yourself.
If you got something to say to me, this is the perfect time to keep it to yourself. Something like that. It's just so good. We need everybody checking every outhouse, boathouse. It's just The Fugitive. It's just his character from The Fugitive.
Speaking of which, we got to watch The Fugitive.
We do.
That's worth a $3.99 rental.
And
Let's
the sequel with Wesley Snipes, U.S. Marshals.
Oh, fuck. Yep.
Let's do that.
Of course.
Right? That's the best.
It's not the best.
Stanley,
no. The Fugitive is the best.
yeah, of course, but just the 1-2 punch, just the great duology of the Fugitive films.
I love the duology of it.
We did the City Slickers duology. Now it's time for the Fugitive duology. We're in the middle of the Zorro duology right now.
Yeah, we just finished the first one. We were smack dab in the middle. We're just in the middle sitting with our thoughts.
Ready for the Legend of Zorro from 2005.
Yeah, I read the plot. It looks like it's going to be a bummer.
Oh, that's okay.
It's about them getting a divorce or something.
No, boo, I don't like
Right?
it. I don't like any part of that. That's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
So Stanley Tucci in Captain America: The First Avenger, he's the heart of this film.
Yes.
He plays a similar role that Sean Taube played in Iron Man, that mentor character who ends up dying.
Yes.
And the death scene in Iron Man can still choke me up when he's telling Stark, "Don't waste it, Stark. Don't waste your life," because it's like.
And then he just points at his chest.
But in this one, he just points to his chest because they had the conversation the night before. You know, that you will stay a good man. Had the conversation the night before. I love Abraham Erskine in this. What I am doing? You have procedure. What I am doing? You have procedure. I don't have procedure. I drink it now. Yeah, it's so good. He's so likable and everything.
He's so funny.
I think.
Can we watch Big Night after this?
Yes, we can. I can't remember if the movie goes into it, but he also has a tragic story. I mean, the Nazis killed his wife
We're doing
and
a bonus episode
children.
on Big Night.
On Big Night?
I just decided.
Just next up, Big Night.
Yeah.
Instead of
in
the
the
Avengers.
middle of the Avengers, like,
We'll be so pissed.
hey, how about a palate cleanser for a bit?
Right in the middle of the Avengers. But Abraham Erskine, wonderful character in this movie. Just the perfect sort of Obi-Wan mentor character that's in all these films. Tommy Lee Jones, though, he's kind of like the guts of this movie. He is that classic, like tough guy.
But that's the thing.
Here's the
I
thing.
hate that that's what the military is.
It is, except
I hate it.
This movie tells us if Steve Rogers as a man and as an idea can win over that guy, and he does 100%. Colonel Chester Phillips or whatever Phillips is like on board with Steve after he even in the middle after he brings back the dudes. After he's telling him, but you wouldn't understand that because you're a chorus girl. Like these really horrible, insults. B-A-R. I can spell
when you do it.
Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, a little bit of
Jimmy Stewart.
A little
now.
bit Jimmy
Now
Stewart.
you're
Yeah,
just doing Jimmy Stewart.
you're a chorus girl. You don't know what it's like, Steve. You wouldn't know that. We have to do here in the war.
That's the way people talked back then, and I don't know why they weren't all doing that accent.
We'd lose more men than we'd say.
Wah, 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 wah.
Come on, Steve. But Phillips is a great example of like, even earlier when Skinny Steve jumps on the grenade. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about
Still
that.
Too skinny.
Still, yeah, amazing. But like, the acting that him and Tucci are doing with their minimal lines is really great because Tucci's looking at him like, he just proved my point. This skinny, bad at being a soldier, just
jumped on a grenade,
risked his life in training to help these other grunts
who were being dicks to him
the whole time. And he just jumped on this grenade. And the dude who Phillips is telling me should be the guy, Gilmore Hodge, Your Majesty, this guy, he hid behind a car. He hid behind a trunk of because he didn't want to explode in this grenade. And just
what
that,
a dick.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to live. No, but
I know, but still.
Nobody else was a dick. It's just that Steve was just so heroic,
willing to risk his life to save everyone.
And it's a beautiful sort of like, I would hope that I would make that choice in that scenario, but I probably wouldn't.
I'd have fucking punted it, dude. I'm like,
watch out, Peggy. Watch out.
I don't want this no more.
Go kick that shit out of here.
Fucking teeth that guy hiding behind
pick it up and
truck.
Throw it back to Phillips, who threw the grenade. Hey, trying to kill us?
We're all standing right here.
We saw what you did.
We saw it happen.
But like, Tucci,
who just drops a grenade in the middle of it and then yells grenade.
Terrible colonel.
I love everybody's like reaction skills, but it's like,
hey,
you just like played fetch like a dog is what you did.
Is there a box of dummy grenades? Is part like anyway?
Of course.
The point is
its training.
That's the training. Yeah, I guess so.
That's
you got to hold it. Got to get used to it. It doesn't blow up in your arm, blow off your arm. But like even Peggy, she goes for the grenade too. Remember that?
Yeah,
she goes for it.
She's
like, ready to throw down
it.
and yeah, she's gonna
swallow it. Oh, and that's how we learn that she has superpowers.
Just like the mask, blows up the grenade and everyone's okay. I mean, smoke coming out of the ears. But like, she does that in that great moment, and then she gets to see Skinny Steve, and I feel like they did a good job of showing us. To me, it's romantic, but even if not, to just show how much she does admire Skinny Steve. Like, man, he's got so much character. All the things he says and the way he thinks about the world, and he just wants to help, and he just wants to help people. But Chester Phillips in that scene,
Until he's like,
still
nobody
still
likes
too
me
skinny.
because I'm small.
Yeah.
No dames like me because I'm real small.
He doesn't say that. He just
He
says, hey,
basically
I get stepped on.
No one want to dance with him when he gets a guy you can step on.
And then she's like, but here's the funny thing is that she didn't go, oh, please, Steve, get over yourself. She was like, no, you're right. You are too small. Like she basically is agreeing with him, being like, yeah.
You're a little bastard.
You're super tiny. I wouldn't dance with you.
I couldn't.
I couldn't. Talk to me after you've gained some muscles in the super science
And then
experiment.
she's like, ooh,
touch your muscles. Let's talk about Peggy Carter for a second. Haley Atwell.
She's great.
Love her.
Yes.
Love her. And this is
But
the first.
also,
What?
too much military time.
What? That her character is involved in, or just the
Even
movie
she's
itself?
like, hey, you dumb wimps.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's right. She's like, we're going to whip you into shape.
Which is fine too, but
Yeah.
also, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the way the military works. Guys, I'd like to say
Mm-hmm.
I don't support the troops,
Mm-hmm.
but I support every troop.
Every troop,
Every
individually?
individual troop.
Yeah, of course.
Except for the racist piece of shit ones that had to like get kicked out of guarding stuff.
We drove by a military base the other day as we were safely going to get some Mexican food, and there's a big support the troops on there. And anytime I see that, I do think about that, like post 9/11, Bush era,
Yeah.
like that's what everybody was rallying behind to hey, support the troops. You got to support the troops. And you turned to me and you were like, I don't support the troops. I support a troop. I'll support a troop.
Yeah.
I support individual men and women and non-binary individuals that are making a sacrifice and
Yes.
like working hard, and they have good ideals and stuff. But the people in power that are moving them to, and that's the interesting thing about World War II, is that it can always be used as a backdrop where it's a simple good versus evil, because it mostly
But
was.
it really can't be, because the U.S. was like, genocide. But we're cool. Wait, you did what to the island we colonized?
Yeah.
Not cool, dude.
That's true. And then, boy, oh boy, and then the way that the war ended is a horrific thing where a bunch of Japanese people, millions died.
Shit. Yeah.
Which is insane.
Fucking insane.
And then changed the world and changed everything. And the debate of, well, was that in the service of the greater good? Did it end the war and preventing the loss of more life? I don't know. I can't have that conversation. I can't have that debate.
I'm gonna say there's another way to.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
I don't know.
I'm gonna say there's another
But
way
it's
to
the thing of like, if the bad guys had
hindsight
gotten,
being what it is.
Exactly, yeah, being what it is. But in the world of Captain America, he is supposed to represent the good ideal, the good guy.
Yeah.
He is so flawless. His only flaw is that it does have something to prove. And his buddy,
If he was alive
Bucky,
when the bombs were going to be dropped, he would have stopped it.
he could have ended the war single-handedly. And then, yeah.
I'm saying he would have been against that.
Yeah, I think so too. Although
I don't want to kill anybody.
I'm not sure what the because that
He straight up says, I don't want to kill anybody.
and that
I
was
don't
the
like bullies.
end of the war.
The people they dropped those bombs on weren't bullies.
He was frozen. He was frozen when when the war ended. And so it
he didn't
kind
see
of
the war end.
it kind of absolves him of that, of being a part of an organization that made that decision. And then he gets to be thawed in the present day and just be like a very naive, a very, well, I know what I did this for, and it was for the right reasons, and now the world is complex. Even if the world always was complex, back
they never
when he
go
was,
into him learning how the war ends, do they?
Yeah, I mean,
in the movies.
I guess it would be in the Avengers. They might mention about, he goes, they always tell me that we won the war, but they didn't tell me what we lost. Those kinds of lines where you're like, interesting. What, like learn about Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Yeah,
like,
and he's like, we did fucking what, guys?
The MCU didn't do that, but presumably he learned it.
Yeah, well, I know he learned it, but
he says internet so helpful. Like, he was taught stuff once they calmed him down, and they're like,
Captain America's better when he hates the government.
2011. I mean, that's what he's supposed to represent. And you
mean the government?
No, he's supposed to represent questioning the government, and in many ways, that is the most.
But not initially.
No, because he was created as a propaganda tool
thing.
to fight Adolf Hitler and Nazis.
Yeah,
created by two Jewish guys in the 40s, which is crazy, and they put him.
Which is again another huge reason it's kind of fucked up. They sidestepped the Holocaust in this movie.
Yeah, but that is also something.
There's a reason he was created.
That's
by
true.
two Jewish guys,
and it was to inspire youth to be against Nazis. And I think the movie does that. And what you're talking about and what I'm talking about is the fact that the first Captain America movie doesn't mention the Holocaust. That is true, and that's an oversight.
It doesn't mention why the Nazis are bad.
Right. You're right. It just sets it up. It doesn't provide the context.
This
it
is
doesn't
supposed to be a kids
stuff.
movie.
Yeah.
There's already Holocaust denial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But I don't know if kids are responsible for that.
They're not responsible for it, but if a kid goes to see it, it just furthers it.
I don't know if Captain America will further Holocaust denial.
I'm not saying...
But it will...
It can reinforce it. It's like...
Yeah.
The lack of mentioning it...
Right.
Can, I don't know. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. And what I was saying was that after World War II, in our real world, after Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, these two Jewish guys, created Captain America, and they put him in comic books where he was fighting Nazis before the United States entered the war. There was still had that, we're neutral. This was before Pearl Harbor. They knew what they were doing. They were trying to get to young people and tell them the Nazi Party, which had a foothold in the United States. Like there were people that were politically Nazis in the United States that were like, for what was happening, and they were fine with it.
I can't even imagine what that would
crazy.
be like.
So after World War II, Captain America is still in comic books and he's used for different things. Of course, he starts busting communists and commies in the 50s.
Of course.
Then in the 60s, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby brought him back and said, he was frozen for 20 years. The guy during the 50s, that was another man who was hired by the government because Captain America, quote unquote, died at the end of World War II. And so he didn't get to see the end of the war. He didn't get to see the liberation of, concentration camps and all these different things and the way that the world changed. But since in the 60s, they had already started to make Cap a more complex character and idea and story. And since then, other characters have absolutely been like, we're going to flash back. We're going to show you a story where he does liberate a concentration camp. And there's even a story where he liberates, I think, the same camp that Magneto as a child was present at.
Oh, damn.
That kind of Marvel connectivity. It's different in the movies, but Black Widow was a little girl being trained by Russia in World War II. Or she was a young woman. And there's a comic book where he teams up with her as a young spy and Wolverine. And then these characters stay long-lived and they don't really age for all those decades.
Black Widow doesn't either?
Correct. Because she has a different type of, enhancement and formula and stuff. Same with Nick Fury. He's active during World War II, but then he had a formula called the Infinity Formula. But they made him age slower.
And it makes sense that they just didn't do any of that for these movies.
Correct. They avoided that for Nick Fury. They avoided it for Natasha. Mm-hmm. And they said the only guy who really has been around this long is Steve Rogers.
Lord Jesus
because of the rare, because of the rare formula. So I hope that these movies, the MCU, that there is a space for them to go into some of that stuff with other stories. And I think Falcon and Winter Soldier could be a show where they do it.
Yeah.
If the trailer has Sam Wilson being like, the legacy of that shield is complicated, fans have already been speculating.
I didn't even see the trailer yet.
Yeah, fans are speculating. They're like, is he talking about the complication of the fact that Steve wasn't the first guy? And now you have Sam Wilson, a black man, talking about that comic book story I just told you about. I'm like, are they going to put that in there? Maybe. I don't know.
Or how what made the shield came from.
That's true. Wakanda,
they straight up stole it,
which they don't go into. It's like was the vibranium that was used to make the shield, was it given to Howard Stark?
Yeah.
Did T'Chaka's father give it to Howard Stark, or T'Chaka himself give it to Howard Stark, or I guess not.
We never
T'Chaka.
get to see Killmonger have that conversation with Cap.
Yeah, I mean, or Black Panther, or but that would have been amazing. Now I want to rewatch
the conversation he has with the lady.
Oh, absolutely,
at the museum.
Absolutely, yeah. Killmonger could do that for all of S.H.I.E.L.D., just to all of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Nick Fury would hear it and be like, "Yeah, you're right, but shut up! Like I'm trying to work here. Like I'm trying to be a good guy." So that's one of the reasons I do love Captain America is because when I was learning about World War II and the Holocaust, I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And around that time, first of all, I saw Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Because it came out when I was in 5th or 6th grade. And I think
98 or something.
98.
Mm-hmm.
So I all of a sudden was learning in a very visceral way what World War II was, the things that soldiers had to go through, the sacrifices made, all that stuff. And then I'm getting into Marvel Comics and I'm like, well, that's all Captain America. And everything that I had read in comic books was not denying that stuff. It was like, yep, that really happened. Here we go. And here's a superhero character running through the battlefield. But look at the rest of the men that he's serving. Like these are just normal people, normal dudes. So that's what I love about Cap. But like I said, I think it at his core, he's supposed to be a little bit naive, during his time
until
he wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all of a sudden like questioning the government, questioning S.H.I.E.L.D., questioning even the Avengers themselves.
And
even
this movie kind of is like, well, he's a propaganda machine.
Mm-hmm.
And they mention propaganda,
Mm-hmm.
but also while at the same time it's really propaganda-y.
Yeah,
So,
of course. And it is, and it's a great way to introduce, I think, like young audiences especially to the idea of propaganda, because
True.
there is some propaganda that's not bad. There's some propaganda that's like, hey, Nazis are bad, and you're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We should have a lot of that. We should be unanimous in that.
Yes.
And that is, and I do like how this movie, like you said, it acknowledges it. There's a version of the Captain America movie where he wouldn't even have a movie, but there would just be like a 15-minute flashback at the beginning of the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
and then it cuts to present day, and he wakes up, and then the other characters come in. Like that could have happened. We could have gotten, the idea that this movie exists and it's an entire 2-hour movie.
I'm glad we got a movie. This is a good movie.
Yeah, it's so
I like
good.
this movie.
Me too.
I don't want anybody to think I don't like this movie.
I know. Do you want to go into your ranking so far? With the 5 we've seen? Is this your number 1, or do you still like Iron Man the best?
I still like Iron Man the best.
Me too. And then my number 2 is this.
My number 2
And then I go
might
Hulk?
be this. What was my ranking last time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's Iron Man 2, Thor, Hulk, this. So
Yeah.
put that in order.
I think I like it better than Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Do you like it better than Thor?
I'm probably like it better than Thor.
Do you like it better than Iron Man 2?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
It's between this or Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Let me tell you why.
I have a good time in Iron Man 2.
I know, but let me tell you why I will put this over Iron Man 2. Because I think we have the same ranking.
I'll put it
otherwise.
over that too.
Okay.
We can have the same ranking.
We just wanted to avoid the conversation we're about to have. Yeah, because I guess it would go, number 1 would be Iron Man, number 2 would be this, number 3 would be Iron Man 2. No, shit, I'm putting Hulk there. Then I go Iron Man 2, then Thor.
Okay.
But I have personal reasons for putting Hulk over Iron Man 2. Love Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
but Iron Man 2 is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put this over either of those because the flaws in the Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, or in Iron Man 2, they're here, but I think that, damn it, they nailed it so hard with this Indiana Jones style. Like, I just think it's
a World War II pulp adventure.
absolutely
romp.
that, like, they across the
You
board
get the Romans.
nailed it.
You get the Nazi sci-fi nonsense.
Yeah.
You get the Red Skull.
Yeah, absolutely. Who is just
We haven't talked about Hugo Weaving yet.
he is
Poor guy.
fantastic.
Apparently, he didn't have a great time.
I know, that bums me
I
out.
think it's wearing that mask.
I
wouldn't
know.
have a great time.
But why didn't he come back to voice Red Skull in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame? Because he didn't have a good time.
Because
But
at
I'm like,
that point, he'd probably just written it off entirely.
right, which bums me out. Because I'm like, hey, man, you didn't even have to do the mask again. They could have just, they CG'd him
he
anyway.
wrote off all of them.
Yeah, I know. It's such a bummer. I wonder if he, like, watched them all and was like, Black Panther's pretty good. Like, I wonder if he,
Yeah.
or if he was just like, no, I don't watch my movies. I don't do that.
He doesn't watch his own movies.
I know. He's
Maybe
never
that's the
seen,
thing.
what a bummer. He's never seen Lord of the Rings, never seen any MCU films. The Matrix. He's missed out on a lot of good shit.
I wonder what ended it. I bet he used to, and then he saw one of them. He's like, not anymore.
Yeah, he
No
saw.
more. Beaver
don't know.
Vendetta.
They're all
He's
pretty
like,
good.
not enough of my face.
Yeah, I guess he was good in that too. Yeah, no, he's a perfect villain in this movie
Yeah, he
because
is.
he's so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me a long
And
time
skeletal.
to find this place.
Mhm.
You should be commended.
I feel like they're pretty good German accents
Yeah, I'm
from him and
fine.
Stanley Tucci.
And even if not, it's
Not
all
that I know.
cartoony. I know.
Exactly.
I know. Yeah.
It's okay.
Dr. Zola.
Dr. Zola.
Dr. Zola.
He's going to come back as a computer man.
He comes back as computers.
He's going to be a computer man.
Toby Jones is great.
He's going to come into the digital age.
Yeah, that's right. But he's like hundreds and hundreds of feet of computer tape. That's what they
Yeah.
put his brain on.
Mm-hmm.
So stupid and awesome. It's
That's
so
how
great.
the computer tape used to work.
That's one of my favorite exposition scenes in a movie.
Except
Winter
it is
Soldier.
long.
I assure you, I am not a computer or a simulation. Natasha Romanoff,
But
born
you are.
1984.
But you are a computer.
It's great.
You say you're not a computer, but
He's
you've been
not-
uploaded to a computer.
he goes, I am not a recording. I am here.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. Red
Just-
Skull, so
At
fun.
least they brought back Toby.
I was hoping that Red Skull would have come back
TJ.
more. They did. They brought him back. I was hoping because in the comic books, Red
But
Skull
he's
comes
like
back.
a big bad villain.
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't ever get to come back
I
as
know.
a big bad villain.
He comes back as a space Thanos thing that it holds the Soul Stone or whatever.
At least we know where he went.
That's cool. I was man.
When he zipped on out of there, we're like, everybody's like, he's dead.
I was like, he's coming back.
He's not dead.
But
We
they
saw him
couldn't-
go. We saw
they
him
couldn't
fly
figure
up
it out.
into space.
You know, he's supposed to come back for the first Avengers, right? We talked about this.
he was
It was supposed to be him and Loki.
together.
Yeah.
Loki carried it. I think it would have been better if he was in it.
No, I disagree.
I think I liked it better.
Oh,
I think Loki's the reason I don't like Avengers.
Oh, really? You would
Yeah.
have liked it better if it was Red Skull and Loki.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I
I don't know
because
either. Actually,
the
I don't. I think you should have gotten someone else entirely.
yeah, the behind the scenes was that Joss Whedon saw an early cut of Thor, right? I told you about this. And after seeing an early version of Thor, he goes, "Oh, you know what?
Just have it be Loki.
Just have it be
Tom
Loki.
Hiddleston's
He
got
can
it.
he can do it. He
He's
can do
got
it.
it.
It can just be Loki. Can focus on Thor versus Loki. Focus on the Avengers. We don't need to bring in the Red Skull. We don't need to,
Mhm.
which I think worked, but we'll see. Next
We'll
week
see.
when we watch it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I'm kidding.
The Avengers, your favorite
It's one
movie.
of my favorite movies.
It was your favorite movie
yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until
Until what? I don't know. Shit. Civil War, maybe?
Civil War
Maybe
beat
Captain
it. I
America
think.
Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Spidey and Black Panther.
True.
You just.
Is that the only reason?
You just.
It's not the rest of the movie.
Vision. And the movie's good.
That fight at the airport, you're
It's
just
awesome.
like,
Yeah. It's great. I
Yeah.
cried.
yeah,
Ant-Man. It's great. But
Ant-Man.
the thing that the first Iron Man movie, second Iron Man movie, Hulk, and then even Thor. Thor is different because Thor tries to do the Asgard stuff. It has that across the board
Yeah.
art design of like, this is Asgard, and now we're in New Mexico. And I feel like it mostly nailed it, but it's not a triumph. A success, yes, but not a triumph. For me, at the art design level, the first Avenger is a triumph because they fully commit to the old school design, look,
Yes.
feel, clothing,
Just straight up period piece.
costumes, the zany like spy boats and
Mhm.
vehicles that they're popping up in the movie, and you're like, cool, that's cool. That Nazi sub, that's a super cool submarine.
It is.
Super cool.
I can't fault any of it.
All the motorcycles,
That crazy cool car.
the flamethrowers,
Nazi
that
car.
huge long limo car, the
Mhm.
plane, the big wing plane.
Yeah.
It's cool
The
as shit.
boomerang plane.
The boomerang plane. That's from when Batman and Superman teamed up, remember? And the Joker painted it like a smile. He took that LexCorp.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Now you know what we're talking about.
Finally.
And I feel like we've hit pretty much every cast member in the movie. Who else is left?
Haley Atwell. We did that, right?
We talked about her and how awesome she is.
She's great. We talked about Agent Carter. We didn't talk about Haley Atwell.
Well, let's talk about
Haley
Haley
Atwell, great.
Great.
And I'm glad she got more to do
Me too.
later on.
Because out of all the characters in all the movies who I would have thought we're never going to see again, it would have been the female love interest
Mm-hmm.
co-lead in a movie set in World War II, and now we're in
Who was by
the
any means
present.
could be just be dead if
Yeah.
we wanted.
Yeah, but they
They brought her back
They brought her
in
back.
a few movies.
Yeah.
2 movies?
Yeah.
She dies in Civil War, right?
yeah, but she's not in it, but she passes away.
Okay.
And she's in Winter Soldier with old age makeup, and she's in like a weird dream sequence in Avengers Age of Ultron.
And she's in Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
She's
Like
dancing
yeah,
around.
in the background, and they go to 1970 and she's there.
But also
and
she
she's in
dances.
Ant-Man.
She dances at the
She
end
dances.
with him.
And she's in Ant-Man. They have an older version of her in Ant-Man where she's in 1989 or whatever, and then she sees
I hope she's getting big checks for all that shit too.
Me
It's like,
too.
hi, I'm not
And-
going to say anything.
Maybe the most significant is she got 2 seasons of a TV show,
Yeah.
which I'm so happy about because, I wasn't expecting to see Chris Pine again after the first Wonder Woman. I'm like,
True.
your character died in World War One,
Mm-hmm.
and then they magically brought him
Thank
back.
God they brought him back.
Yeah, for a great story.
For a great movie that I love.
But I think there's lots of reasons Peggy Carter came back, and it wasn't just because
She's great.
it's because she's great, and the characters they made the character very meaningful to Steve
Mm-hmm.
and important to Steve in his life. Even when she's gone, she's still important to him.
And
It's
like she's one of the good soldiers.
yeah.
She gets it.
And to be able for them to say, oh, she became one of the founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D. alongside,
Nick Fury and Howard Stark and
well, not
Not
even
Nick
Nick,
Fury.
but
He comes in
Howard
later.
Stark, for sure.
Yeah.
Howard and I guess Dum Dum Dugan or whatever else. Like, it's a great little bit of
Dee Dee Dukes.
it's a great little bit of retroactive MCU continuity for them to be like a woman, a female character
Co-founded.
was there.
Okay, so
in
that's
the
not
early,
part of the.
No, not at all.
Okay.
She's just kind of a World War II agent, and then she kind of goes into semi-retirement, and then Steve comes back, and she's still old, and she's like, good to see you, Steve, and then she dies. She becomes
See
like
it, Steve.
a support staff member for the Avengers.
Okay.
Like
Moneypenny?
yeah, kinda.
Okay.
Support whatever support
No
staff means,
thanks.
but the fact that they were able to
they
give
gave
her,
her a real upgrade.
yeah, totally
Good.
two TV shows, 2 seasons
Mhm.
where it's like she's
Well, I wonder how much of that was
spy.
just Haley Atwell's great. And it was like,
I
you know
know.
what?
I know
She fucking kind of stole every scene she was in.
I kinda
We should give her more.
that kind of proves like there's no small roles, and she did such a good job and was so good to work with that everybody was like, oh, let's find other ways to work with her. Let's bring her back. Let's bring her back. Which is cool. Whereas like other franchises won't do that sometimes. They'll kind of move on and that's it, and that's kind of a bummer. Like it would be cool if the Wonder Woman movie did have a spinoff of 2 seasons where it's like
Like we're finally getting to see Jane Foster again.
I know, which is I'm really excited about.
And Kat Dennings apparently, right?
Yeah. Oh, she's going to be in WandaVision.
What? When?
I don't know. I have
When
no
is that
idea.
gonna happen?
I have no
I
idea.
bet she works at the place. She's like, I had to science this.
Yeah, I hope so. She's supposed to be a doctor.
They're
But-
all out of it.
Do you remember what's the actress's name who played Etta Candy in the first Wonder Woman? She was in the British Office. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I don't remember her
Shaun
name.
of the Dead. What's her
Mhm.
actress's name?
I don't remember her name.
Imagine if she and like the dudes in her little squad got a TV show for 2 seasons. That would have been awesome. You
Yeah.
know, after Chris Pine died, but they had 2 seasons of like, well, we're still doing stuff at the end of World War I and going on spy missions, and that would have been great.
Why
Etta
didn't they?
Candy. I don't know.
Haley Atwell's going to be in the new Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. That's right.
Except I heard she might be dating Tom Cruise.
No, I don't know.
Hope that's not true.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I really hope it's not
Or I hope this is the one that finally convinces Tom to leave the Church of Scientology.
true. I hope she bails, and that's what makes him realize.
Like Jane Krakowski just denied the rumors of her and the My Pillow guy.
Yeah.
It would be cool if Haley Atwell was like, no, we're not
No,
dating.
that's not
He's just
true.
my co-star.
Yes.
But
I'm going to get my check and bail.
I don't know. Maybe with the powers that be, maybe that he wouldn't let her do that. I don't
Get
know.
that check and bail.
I think
Get that check and bail.
I think every woman that Tom Cruise has publicly dated has always just made him look better.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Never.
No, of course. Yes.
So I can't help but feel cynical. Like even if they are like in love and they're both good people in real life, I'm like cynically. I'm like, but
it's impossible. We
yeah.
saw things.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise isn't a good person.
he can't be.
No.
Until he comes out and goes, the Church of Scientology needs to end
Yes.
because it hurts people, and I can't be a part
And
of
they've
that.
been blackmailing me for all this year.
But even then, I'd be like, you could have.
It depends on what the dirt was.
Yeah.
but-
Oh man. What if the dirt was like?
Man, he almost went to seminary. He almost became a
Yeah.
pastor.
Yeah.
Preacher, pastor, man.
Rock climbing,
Pastor.
mummy fighting,
Hey.
preacher,
do my
pastor
way.
man.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, let's keep talking about Captain America.
The
We got-
best part of Mission Impossible 2 was him climbing that mountain to that song.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
And then throwing those sunglasses.
Zorro's in that movie.
Oh, shit. Is he?
Odin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Zorro
yeah,
Odin.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Zorodin.
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins, the most
Mhm.
Mexican man.
Not my father.
Not my
Oh,
own
man.
father.
Yeah, we watched Master Zorro last night, as we said, in the middle of that duology.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a really good
except
time.
for the casting decisions.
Mm-hmm. You mean that none of the 3 leads are Mexican actors?
Even
kind of a bummer.
all European actors.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer. Antonio Banderas, great. Great.
Great, but also
Love him.
from Spain.
Love him. That's right. He's Spanish,
Yes.
not Mexican.
No.
Yeah. But he's great as Puss in Boots.
He is.
He's the best.
Puss in Boots, I'm pretty sure, is Spanish.
I think you might be right. Yeah, because it's all supposed to be a fake Europe, right?
Yeah.
The world of Shrek.
I feel.
I did some math the other day on Twitter.
Okay.
I said,
What's the math?
if Shrek,
You know the math. Just do it.
if Shrek had his babies
Yes.
at the end of Shrek the Third,
Fiona had the babies.
correct. If the Shrek
And
family, Shrek and Fiona,
Mm-hmm.
if Fiona gave birth to the ogre babies,
Yes.
uh,
Disgusting.
which are named Felicia, Fargus, and Farkle,
Honestly, awful.
at the end of Shrek the Third,
They bring Shrek Forever After down a full letter. The look of those babies.
no, no, I think they're
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I can't say they're cute.
You
They're
almost
ugly.
said it.
Nope,
They're bad.
I know. No, they're about as cute as that kid that goes, "Do the roar."
That kid's not cute.
Do the roar. But if they had their kids, I love you, Daddy, at Shrek the Third, and if it
That's
took
his
place,
best line.
it is. If it took place during the year which that movie
I
was
feel like
released.
it's been a while since we've been to Shrek.
Oh, I
In
know
one
it
of
has.
these episodes.
Well, because we haven't seen the Hulk in a minute.
True.
So once we see the Hulk, we'll get back to it.
Back to Shrek.
If it was 2007, Keller,
Yes. Good year.
those kids are going to turn 14 this year.
What?
And then somebody online was like, why do you think Shrek the Third takes place in 2007? And I went, oh, because it's not real. It's an alternate reality where fairy tale characters are Hollywood celebrities.
And it is the 2007 year after their alternate Christ died.
After their alternate Christ, Mother Goose died. Yes. I don't know what the rules are, but it's like, but they still have enough modern stuff.
Well, just there's enough even pop culture reference that they'll even reference an existing thing from that year. It's like, okay, then, that place is it.
Yeah, and then the person responded like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because I said something like, this is a world where Joan Rivers exists. Mm-hmm. Joan Rivers was not alive during medieval times. Joan Rivers is
This
now.
is an alt universe. This is Earth 624.
Yeah, exactly. So that person said, yeah, you're right, actually. Joan Rivers was alive. R.I.P.
Do you want them to bring Shrek into the Marvel Universe?
No.
Because they just brought Conan in, and I just keep asking Hector
about
what
else.
What character would he be cool with? You said John Carter.
John Carter of Mars. That's
but
right.
also, no.
Yeah. Why not?
Don't need it.
No, we don't. Of course not. But maybe having cool Marvel comics would make people like that brand more. I don't know.
And don't have him in the Marvel Universe then. Just have cool John.
Just its own thing.
John Carter
like
comics.
Cool new comics. Yeah, but I don't think
and
Disney
then maybe
has
bring him in eventually. But like
the rights to that anymore. So
they have Tarzan. They probably got
Disney. I don't think so.
How did they make a Tarzan movie?
They had it then.
They lost it?
Yeah, the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff is.
Oh yeah, because David Yates got
estate. Yeah, right. The estate will sell it
they
to
had
different.
Skarsgård play him, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's
Which
try
makes sense because he's basically skateboarding in the Disney one.
It's true. Stellar skateboards, his father.
Yep.
Let's try to sum up our thoughts on Captain America: The First Avenger. We saw it in 3D. The 3D is
pretty damn good.
Not perfect, but it's pulpy and good, and I like it. There's some great.
And I think it maybe
shots.
Helps Steve's CG face.
When he's a little skinny guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the backgrounds and everything. Yeah, some green screen, it kind of helps that stuff.
Yeah.
Helps sell the illusion. I love this movie so much. It is a 5-star film.
This is the most I've ever liked it.
Most you've ever liked it. Are you excited and looking forward to the Avengers next week?
Kind of.
You said it's probably going to be the most you'll ever like that, too.
Probably, but I don't like that movie very much.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't like...
You've gone on record as saying you prefer Age of Ultron to the first one.
Yes.
I'm curious to see if that's going to maintain. Record. That's fine. Either way, I think that's fair.
The stenographer recorded
to say, exactly.
I said it in court.
Why, Keller?
And I put that man away forever.
As we've been watching these movies for 5 weeks now.
It's crazy that court case hinged on which movie I like more. If he said the
Your
first
Honor,
Avengers, he would have been freed.
Your Honor, arrest my case. Age of Ultron. Well, question for you, though, Keller, because you said multiple times, this is the most I've enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
As we've been watching the Phase 1
why
movies.
Is that?
Yeah. These first 5 weeks. Why? What do you think? Why?
I think the first time I did a full MCU watch through was with you at the old house. And that time...
It's a chore. It was work.
That time it's a chore because, again, I'm watching these, like, Thor, Hulk, this movie. Didn't like him the first time around. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch these again. And then I get to watch a bunch of way better movies. And I guess all these years now, I have more context and like those characters more as they've been developed later in the series.
Yeah.
That I'm willing to be like, oh my God, that's actually adorable the way he used to be, and he used to be in this other movie.
That's great.
So naive.
How novel is that? A sequel that just makes you
like the character
more, so that it just keeps enhancing the original more and more and more. I think that's great. I think that means that overall the MCU is a triumph because that's their whole game plan. That's what they're trying to do. Hell, even WandaVision right now, people are pointing out that
I didn't like the Vision until just now.
Yeah. And they're watching, and then when the newest episode ends, it goes to a little Disney Plus screen that's like, watch Avengers: Age of Ultron. So now people are revisiting that movie, and they're like, this is cool.
The best part of that movie is the Vision coming out in the end. It's like, what the fuck?
It's awesome when he lifts the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He did that shit
because
before Cap.
he had... Now, he wouldn't be able to.
You don't think?
He wouldn't be able to lift the hammer now.
Why? Because he's had sex?
He's sinned.
Only virgins can lift
Fornication.
it? So you tell me Captain America was a virgin until the year 2023 when he lifted it to save Thor and the rest of the Avengers.
Yes.
And then he goes back in time. He's like, I can't lift this anymore.
Yes. They don't ever show his dates of him going, I can't.
And Peggy's like, why, Steve? Why? And then he lifts the hammer because of this.
Well, when he goes to the alternate universe,
Mm-hmm.
he can't anymore
Mm-hmm.
because he immediately gets married to Peggy.
Yep.
And
He can't.
yep.
So
can't.
the Mjolnir is just like a prop in their house.
Just kidding. He can because he's married and is having sex in the eyes of the Lord.
Oh. So how can Thor lift it? Has he just been married this whole time, or has he been? It's such
It's
such a fun conversation.
Here's the thing. It's witchcraft, and actually we shouldn't be happy about the hammer because that is a separate set of gods.
Yeah.
And actually those are false gods. If we really want to get into it, there's only one God.
That's
And-
right. That's what Steve Rogers says in the first Avengers
Yeah.
movie. There's only one God, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. And then he jumps out of a plane.
It's pretty funny.
And all the Christians around the world in the United States were like,
Thank you.
So
The only one who could not dress like that.
That's our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, amen. Yeah, that's a fun conversation to have. We'll get to that later when the conversation is, why can Thor lift the hammer, but other people can't?
Because he's God.
If it's about worthiness. So he's worthy? What makes him worthy? When other characters who are like good people can't lift it.
And then Hela just like, I'm worthy of holding it and then crushing it in my hand.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if that makes her worthy, but super powerful.
She can lift it.
No, she just
pretty
caught
clearly.
it and then crunched it.
It didn't fall to the ground immediately.
That's
she
true.
can lift it. It's been lifted. It's lifted.
That's true. She was hanging on to it's like gripping a basketball. She's like hanging onto it. Or was it trying to fall to the ground and she was like, well, I guess if she was
clearly,
catching it
yeah. If it didn't fall to the ground immediately, she can hold it.
Weird. You're right.
It probably used to be hers.
Unless it was some weird Marvel physics rule where like the hammer was in motion and all she was doing was stopping it from being in motion, but
she
like
grabs it.
Yeah, I know she
you
does.
See her hand. She
and that's what she uses to crunch it.
Palming that hammer.
Listen, is she as powerful as Odin? Maybe. She was his daughter and then
she could have taken
banished.
Odin.
Oh, absolutely, especially in his old age. I think that's why he basically pieced out. He's like, look at that over there. I'm going to turn it to dust. Goodbye.
I fucked up.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I love you both, but I love you more, Thor. Bye.
Loki.
Come
on, dude.
Piece of shit. Come on.
Come on.
After all this time?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. It's pretty great. All right. Well, we can pretty much wrap up our thoughts on Captain America, the First Avenger. I've got great memories watching this movie in 2011 and knowing what was coming.
Okay memories, probably.
But again, even the whole time I'm watching this movie, I knew he was going to have a sequel in the present day.
Of course.
He was going to see Bucky again as the Winter Soldier, that it was going to get complex and cool and challenging and, you know, modern and sleek and everything. And I just have
At this point, I didn't know you and therefore
Yeah,
didn't know anything.
That's true. When did we meet? 2014?
Mm-hmm.
It was a good year for Marvel.
It's a good year for us.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to see Captain America the Winter Soldier with Kyle Kenyon. Just two dudes went to go see it.
Yep.
I remember going to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't remember who with. And then
Where was that?
2014, August.
2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know you.
Yeah. And I'm very excited about this. I'm about to start rewatching Agent Carter, the TV series. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
It's probably going to be good.
Yeah, it's good.
I
You never
hope so.
seen it?
I don't know. It's on ABC. So
Do you want to dip in on some of it?
I might dip in on some
good.
of it.
That's good. I don't think you'll need to watch
Because
every
I know
episode.
Haley Atwell will be the best part of it.
But if you watch like the first episode with us and then you kind of dip out and then come back for like the finale, like that'll be good.
Okay.
You know, you'll get some good stuff out of that. I'm stoked about rewatching Avengers.
Yeah, because I used to be your number one with the bullet.
Number one with a bullet until some other stuff came out, and I'm still working on my. Are you doing an MCU ranking on Letterboxd?
No. Does
Do
Thor
that
Ragnarok
shit.
beat Avengers?
Do that shit. I think it does.
Yes.
But why don't you do it, man? I'm curious.
Okay, I'll do
Why
it for
not?
you.
Keep track.
I'm sorry.
Got to do the one shots. Got to plug them in there.
See, now you're adding more to it.
It's easy.
Okay.
Come
I'm just going
on.
to copy your list and move it.
Fine, that's fine.
I'm gonna
Can you
do it.
I don't have Letterboxd Pro. You can't. Do you?
I can copy yours.
Can you?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mine expires soon, but I can do it before then.
Oh, and then will your list go away when it expires?
I pray to God no.
That's weird.
That'd be bullshit.
That would be bullshit. Okay, I'm trying to remember if I had anything else that I wanted to say about Captain America: The First Avenger.
It's a 7 for me
That's fine because it is a 7 movie, but for me, it's a fucking 9.
because it
Is
is
how
the
much I love
Captain
it.
America
Yeah.
movie for you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you did it.
Absolutely,
They did it.
and it is to a level of fan service like never in my dreams that I thought I would get it. The same level as when Peter Jackson went to New Line to be like, let me do the Lord of the Rings movie he pitched them 2 movies, and they turned around and were like, but wait, there's 3 books. Shouldn't it be 3 movies? That level of like, what? You're actually going to let this guy do this in a movie?
Yeah.
Never thought I'd get a fully World War II,
Captain America
adventure.
movie. Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say fully. There's parts of it from 2011. That's
Thank
key.
you.
That's
Why?
key. That's key.
Hector, tell me why that's key.
Let me tell you why it's key. Because,
Okay, let's get this out of the way.
yeah.
The order you have me watching them in,
Yep.
don't agree with.
Oh, but you do actually.
I kind of do,
But you do.
but I don't.
Because you don't have to do any work right now.
I don't have to do anything, but
Yes,
I didn't
but
have to do work before.
If we had watched
If I
this
had watched
movie,
them in regular order,
you
wouldn't have had to do any
yes,
work.
Yes, you
Tell
would
me
have.
what work I would have had to do.
This is the work.
If I had changed the order that I
here's-
watched them in.
Here's the main one.
What, are you talking of mental work?
Yeah.
What gymnastics I'm going to have to do in my brain? You
Here's
don't think
the-
I can handle it
Nope.
otherwise?
Here's the main
Okay.
one. Why even?
I
When
got
you don't
mush
need
brain.
to. Why even? Here's the main one that you would have had to deal with. And admittedly, it's not as big as, say,
Because it's
watching,
always the last 5 minutes that come
maybe.
into...
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah. That sets the timeline order
That
so
sets your
far.
timeline order?
But, people say there's no wrong way to watch the MCU. I agree. But don't watch Endgame before Infinity War. That kind of thing.
No.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree
Okay.
with your order
Okay.
other than these.
Okay.
I would rather watch just for phase 1 up to Avengers.
Yeah.
I would rather watch
The theatrical?
in theatrical order.
Let me tell you why that's wrong. And I'm going to go hard.
No. I need to tell you why it's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay?
Okay,
First,
please.
I will tell you why
Please.
it's correct.
Please.
Because all of that
Mhm.
is very trivial. You get all the information you
Mhm.
need by the time you get to Avengers.
Sure. It's a little
Therefore,
jumbled. It's a little jumbled.
It's not jumbled at all.
A little bit.
It's not jumbled at all.
Teeny bit.
It's only jumbled
Mhm.
if you have a notepad in front of you
Mhm.
and you're like, well, what time was it on this day that they did this? And at what time in the calendar did this take place? But what really matters is it all took place in the same year. We know
Right.
who's talked to who, when
Yeah.
who comes into
Yeah.
where. We know.
Yeah.
And even if we don't fully know, it's more fun later when we're like, wait, when Sam Jackson was there, he had already done this.
Mhm.
What? That's fun to put together.
Well, then why not? Let me ask you this: why not, if you're going off the theatrical release order because it's sort of trivial, why not do Thor first as the first MCU movie?
Because they put them out in an order.
Yeah.
And Iron Man happened before all of it.
Thank you. That's right. So we're in agreement. Okay, great. So what it boils down to is
No, because the entire movie Iron Man happens before it.
yes,
All
correct.
of it. Every
Uh-huh.
single piece of Iron Man, the movie,
mhm.
all takes place in one bit of
Mhm.
time. It doesn't jump and it's like, okay, but this is actually where it's all set.
And every single piece of Iron Man 2 takes place before huge pieces of The Incredible Hulk.
That's fine.
So
That's
then,
fine.
so then we should watch Iron Man 2 before The Incredible Hulk.
You know. No. I already have a very good reason for not to do that because
Why?
because Tony Stark walks in at the end of Hulk
Yeah.
looking like he looks in Iron Man
Well,
1 when he should look like he does in Iron Man 2.
That's not that important.
It's very important. You're saying, that's not very important. Everything
Yeah.
is trivial,
Yeah.
especially since you get all the information you need
Mhm.
by the time you get to Avengers.
Yeah. But you're saying you're going to get the information, so it doesn't matter if it's that jumbled. And I'm saying, no, you're right. It doesn't matter, but it's not ideal. And
It's
the
ideal
viewing
for me
order
in this first
in the first
phase.
6. Because in the same way
Only
that-
in the first.
in the same way, you're not trying to watch Ant-Man before Avengers Age of Ultron, because Ant-Man references the events of Sokovia, right?
Yeah.
Dropping
Mhm.
a building out of the sky. That's
Yeah.
what Hank Pym says, Michael Douglas. So you're like, well, you got to watch Avengers Age of Ultron
Mhm.
before Ant-Man. That's the order that it goes in. I think that stuff does matter, and I think it to jumble stuff around, even if it's trivial or not or whatever, it just means it might confuse, it might be
You're
a little,
talking about
you
mistakes in the filmmaking then. You're talking about mistakes in the way that they released
Not
their
necessarily.
information.
I'm talking
It's
about
a flaw in the way they release the information.
Yeah, it's a retroactive thing because they put out Iron Man and Hulk the same year, but Jon Favreau had nothing to do with Hulk. He had
I
nothing to do
think
with
we
Hulk.
should take the MCU flaws and all.
Well, yeah, I know that's what I'm doing,
Therefore,
but I'm
Put
ironing
it-
out the crease and being
just
like,
watched it in the order they put it out in.
you don't have to do the work.
Only those movies.
You don't have to do the work because the work that your brain
I like
does.
that I didn't have to watch does everybody make you go Captain America and then Captain Marvel?
Yeah,
Is that everybody's idea?
yeah, which is a big like what? Why
It's a
would you?
huge what.
What?
It's a huge what.
Because Captain Marvel takes place in 1995 mostly, but then it ends and it's
and also
2018.
Sam Jackson's performance and character is way better if you have the context of him as an old man.
Exactly.
before.
And I'm also
There's a
talking
reason
about
they do a flashback.
I'm also
Flashbacks
talking about
exist
context.
on purpose.
Yeah,
They
that's
flash
right.
back at a certain point in the story on purpose.
On purpose, absolutely. So I think that the main hiccup in
It's like, what if we watched Lost in chronological order? Someone
it's
put
a
that in
mistake.
chronological order. Let's just watch every little clip of everybody's life before we get to the island.
brutal.
Disgusting.
That would be interesting, but it wouldn't be
How would
good.
it be interesting?
because it would be like, oh, okay, this is
What's happening?
Yeah, who are these people? But you're absolutely right, and I think that's why Captain America works when it works in the order, because of these bookends of 2011, right? That's why it works, because you're supposed to have some context of who Nick Fury is, and you get that mostly from Iron Man 2. You get it at the tail end of Iron Man 1, where he goes, I'm Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hello, I'm introducing myself to you and the audience. This is the context. Now I'm in Cap.
The world's bigger now.
And I know who he is, and you know who he is in Captain America. And I think that the main hiccup is my order is the same as theatrical, except I'm just scooching Hulk to the end, right before Cap. And the reason I do it is because Jon Favreau did not have any say on what Tony Stark was saying and doing when he's in the bar talking to William Hurt.
Yeah.
And so they even created that little one-shot that we rewatched that tried to iron it out, because at the end of Iron Man 2, they still did not want him to be an Avenger. They still did not, because they wanted, the whole point was that when you watch the Avengers, he's just a consultant. They need his help, but he's not committing, and they're not asking him to be Iron Man and suiting up and being a superhero. And oh, look at that. The whole point of that movie is Tony Stark learns teamwork. Right? That's supposed to be the whole point of the film. So they're figuring it out as they went along, the same way they do for all of these movies and everything, and Star Wars and Star Trek, and it's all made up as they go along. Who cares? It's not about having a plan. I totally agree and acknowledge that. But I think that when they do have some stuff ordered and they go, okay, we kind of had to tweak some stuff, and now Tony Stark, when he goes to the bar, he's not actually saying we're putting a team together, but he's there as a consultant on behalf of the army. Why would he be there? Ross doesn't even have Hulk. Okay, let's say that it's the Abomination. Ooh, that's perfect, because Ross will now have the Abomination in custody. What a great little retroactive tweak. It's trivial.
I agree,
but it's
with
a
your
tweak.
order.
Yeah.
I just would prefer to watch this first phase in theatrical order,
which is close. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Hulk that's the one that's out of, and it is, I will admit, it is also weird seeing Hulk a little bit closer to when Ruffalo replaces him versus theatrical. He's kind of movies away.
It separates
a little bit, but whatever. It's supposed to be the same character. It's supposed to be Bruce Banner, which is
that
weird.
movie's more connected to Ang Lee's Hulk almost than
it's true.
The MCU.
It's true.
Though.
And that's another reason I think contextually why I like to place it after Iron Man 2 and Thor, because you get this very lived-in MCU world. You get this very
by the time you get to Hulk, so you're a bit more...
Yeah, you're kind of more looking for it and trained for it, and it feels a bit more like, they are building up to the Avengers. Okay, I'm in it. I see what's happening. Here's S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
Because even Hulk looks way different in the Avengers.
Oh, absolutely.
Way less veiny.
Big old Ruffalo character.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of this order, I promise, is going to be pretty easy. It's all the same as theatrical.
I'm fine with the rest.
Okay, except I am scooching up Spider-Man, I think, and Black Panther.
And we're watching Thor Ragnarok right before Infinity War.
That's the way it should be.
Thank you.
Because that's how it ends, and then Infinity War begins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just think contextually and thematically, it's just the best to be able to do it that way, which means we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 right before that because of that weird little Teen Groot scene. And then Doctor Strange right before that. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it.
I'm fine with the rest of it.
Okay, good.
The rest of it, I'm fine with.
Just phase 1.
There's just weird little technical inconsistencies when you watch it in your order. I think is what bugs me most.
Mainly Robert Downey Jr.'s hairstyle.
Yes.
I get it.
Majorly.
And his suit.
And just I don't know, the style even feels different in Hulk. Hulk doesn't feel a part of the MCU at all to me.
It doesn't. It's that's because they didn't know what it was yet.
Exactly.
But then with Iron Man 2 and all the directors who came in after, Kenneth Branagh, Joe Johnston.
Which is another reason I like it right after Iron Man, because Iron Man's you don't know what the MCU is.
They don't
Therefore,
know
you watch the Hulk, you still don't know what the MCU is.
Well, agree
to
disagree.
Building it. We agree, but I'm right. And you are as well.
That's right. I just needed to make my case because...
but everyone else is wrong.
Who puts Captain America first? Blah.
Even if they 100% agree with either of our orders, they're wrong.
I just had to double down because that guy in line was like, Hector, you didn't make a strong case for your case.
Ryan? Yeah. Well, it also makes sense
why
someone agrees with me.
Yeah, sure.
being who I am,
as long
and
I
my
think
charisma,
here's the
and
important
my candor,
thing. Here's the important
and just
thing.
my overall oeuvre.
Here's the important thing. At least we're both 100% in agreement.
Positive that we're not throwing Captain Marvel in the middle of any of this nonsense.
Exactly. And I really like Captain Marvel.
Imagine starting this
Yeah.
with Howard Stark
Yeah.
showing up and being like, hey, I'm Howard Stark. I'm Howard Stark. Without watching Iron Man at all.
It stresses me out that people have,
They're like, Stark
have done
Industries.
this. They've shown people who've
No.
never seen the MCU this, and it stresses me out. I hate it. I'm like, just do theatrical. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's like
You don't have to do my
It's
order.
like you saying watch The Hobbit first, maybe. Don't do
No,
that.
only
Legolas
after-
is in it. It opens with fucking Elijah Wood and Bilbo
Only after you've seen Lord of the Rings.
talking about, hey,
once.
where's Gandalf? I bet he shows up soon.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go meet him. And it's like,
Exactly.
the movie's about to
Even
start.
dude, even the Star Wars prequels are designed to be like, but you've seen the originals, right?
Exactly.
That's how they're designed.
Exactly.
Temple of Doom
Obi-Wan Kenobi, but younger.
is designed that way. Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but there's a joke in Temple of Doom that specifically references something he did in Raiders of the Lost
But
Ark.
even that's fine. If it's a joke,
Yeah.
a joke that references it, that's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's when people are like, there's entire plot sections completely dependent upon Lord of the Rings in The Hobbit.
That's true.
And
And there's a whole that scene with Captain Marvel where she shows up and she after characters that we have no idea who they are like, Thanos did it. He's done it. He's destroyed. He killed half of all life. We're like, this is real bad. And then Captain Marvel shows up and she's like, where's Fury? And that's the end of that movie. I'm like, what?
That makes
Don't
no
do
sense.
that. That skips so far ahead. Your brain is doing the work of like, okay, I have to remember that. That scene is in the future. Got it.
And it's a person who's never watched it.
Yeah.
And if
That
it's a person who's
hurts
never
my-
watched it at this point,
Don't do that.
you're already having to fucking sell this shit to this person.
The easiest
This person's
sell
already like,
is just Iron Man.
who's Thanos?
That's the easiest sell. What's
and now
happening?
you have to wait 10 movies
Yeah.
before it's like,
Why is Mark Ruffalo in this? Oh, don't worry. He's going to turn into Edward Norton and then back to Mark Ruffalo. Get out of here.
that's the thing.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the thing.
That's crazy.
That's the
and
thing.
Don Cheadle's in that scene too. So it's like Don Cheadle's going to turn into Terrence Howard, then back into Don Cheadle. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's my impression of my grandpa watching.
Yeah. Who's Thanos?
I'm like, God, it's Thanos.
Grandpa, Jesus. Come on, man. I've told
He
you.
won't watch the MCU.
He's the big purple guy. It's Josh Brolin.
Barney?
Yeah, he's the big purple guy. Well, I think we've gone a little bit over, but we had to get that in
What do
there
you
at
mean
the bottom.
over? What
the
is
end.
time
It doesn't matter.
anymore?
It doesn't matter. I'm super stoked about the Avengers. I'm continuing to read the comic book tie-ins, and I'm watching the TV shows, and I'm going to watch Agent Carter now, and I'm really excited about that. And even though I'm really harping on the chronological order, I still will put Agent Carter as a series and her one-shot after you watch Captain America: The First Avenger, because I treat the whole thing as a flashback, right? This movie's a flashback that goes to 1942, and that's where you meet Peggy for the
That's
first
the
time.
establishment of Agent Carter.
And you have to have that before you do the TV show.
Do you have to have it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to tell
Oh, well,
people,
they're even gonna.
right?
There's even probably
Yes.
times when she's like,
Yes,
"Oh,
yes,
and
yes.
Steve died."
Yes. There is.
Sometimes I think about how Steve's
That's
dead.
how the first episode opens.
Okay.
And I think Chris Evans is credited.
And
'cause
hopefully
use
they
clips.
never reference it
They
again.
use clips.
Otherwise,
I don't
that
think so.
show would be.
And listen,
Don't make her whole life about that.
it's not at all.
Mhm.
Her whole life is about kicking ass and being a spy and being awesome. And it's like Alias, but set in 1945.
It should. Yeah. Why don't we make Haley Atwell the next Bond?
Seriously, that'd be great. That could be cool. Well, because we already
Because it
have
should be Lashana Lynch.
Lashana Lynch
Yep.
from Captain Marvel.
She is the next Bond.
That's
Or
right.
the next 007.
The next 007. Exactly. Well, that's it, folks. Okay, we'll go ahead and wrap up now.
Yeah.
Please go watch The Avengers, which is streaming on
Amazon Prime,
and
Disney Plus.
go see it there, and come back in a week and email us at
Email us, text us, fax us, MySpace messages,
tweet at us.
poke us on Facebook.
If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what your MCU ranking is for Phase 1.
Send us a pigeon.
What you love about Captain America: The First Avenger. Anything that you don't like about Captain America: The First Avenger. Just how you feel
What
about
your
the movie.
middle of the road on Captain America: The First Avenger.
Just go through every minute and tell us, in this minute, I like this, I didn't like this. And then the next
Honestly,
minute, don't do that.
Don't do that. But also, you can do that. I won't think less of you if you do that. But you also should have watched that movie before
Yeah.
listening to this episode.
Well, yeah, of course.
Watch it again.
I guess watch it again and go through it. And, all right.
Every minute.
That's enough of us. Okay, everybody. Go watch The Avengers, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.